Okay, Mr. Juan Cabrera. Fascinating life, right?
In his performance, I'm so glad you included that video because he's the type of person that you just need to see him perform.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, you get a lot from hearing it. I mean, you can hear the harp, and it's beautiful in the way he plays it. But when you watch him perform and the way he interacts with his own instrument, yeah, that's why we needed to add that. And so you can really, you hear the man talk about his experiences, but seeing it perform, that takes it to another level.
And that's a whole part of what we do. You're an educator, I'm an educator, but performing, that's a whole different area that we can get into.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna change the subject completely. Let's not has nothing to do with mariachi, has nothing to do with anything else. It's just something that crossed my mind because I saw this movie this weekend, and so I want to have this conversation with you. Let's talking about crazy musical experiences that you and I. We asked this of our interviewees. Hey, give us some crazy or some things, experiences you've had, and we asked them. But I want to talk about a couple, maybe some high school things that maybe you went through, crazy high school things.
I want to know about your life because I've seen you like Texas State stuff, but I know that those of you that did not know, Mr. Lopez was a rocker.
Well, I was a rocker back in the day.
He was an emo. Just kidding.
So the reason I bring this up is because, speaking of that, I saw a movie this weekend. I saw my brothers this past weekend, and they're always on Netflix looking for a new movie, especially my brother Gus, my youngest. And he and my other brother George were talking about this movie that they had both seen. And they said, yeah, man, they were telling each other, doesn't that remind you of like John's high school? And I was like, what were you guys talking about? It's this movie called Meadow Lords. It's not a great movie, but it's funny. Don't get me wrong. It is funny.
So it's comedy.
It's a comedy. It's a comedy. Typical kind of teens, fighting each other kind of thing. But it's got that extra twist about being these heavy metal guys that that's their connection is through heavy metal. And it's really funny. One of the things that really cracked me up in that movie, and it's kind of even in the opening scene of the movie, the lead guitarist has this thing where he's playing his guitar, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, he messes up on the guitar. He's like, oh wait, the strap's in the wrong place, and he starts playing, oh man, that air conditioner's throwing me off, and he starts playing again, oh man, my shoes, man, they're kind of throwing me. So it's so typical because I used to play with guys just like that had 1,000,001 reasons that they could blame for messing something up. Oh man, is it hot in here?
Like, the atmosphere is not right.
Yeah, the atmosphere is not right. I was like,
I'm not feeling the vibe.
I was just like, just practice. How about that? But anyway, so that got me thinking about all those crazy high school drumming experiences, and it was just I recommend it. I recommend you watch it just to kind of get a feel for it because they're kind of funny characters. And then the main guy in the movie is a drummer. So a drummer and then his best friend is a guitar player. So they kind of jam out together. And it's just a drummer and a guitar player. No bass player or anything like that. Which, that's why my brother said it reminded him so much of me because that's the way I was. Me and my best friend, we would just jam in our back room. Just me and him, and we're going to be rock stars. And it was just a guitar and drums. But anyway, what's even funnier about that story is me and my best friend. His name was Ruben Hernandez in high school. I met him. I knew of him, but I met up with him when I was a high school. When we went to high school, because we went to different junior highs. So at high school we met up, and starting in September, hey Ruben, we kind of met each other because our families kind of knew each other, and that's when we started really hanging out more. And I wanted to be a drummer, but I didn't have a drum set yet. But I wanted to be a drummer.
Yeah.
That I got a bug in me that summer. I wanted to be a drummer. And he was going to be a guitar player. He wanted to be a guitar player, but he didn't have a guitar yet.
So how are you going to do that?
So we both joined a band. We made a band. Well, I understand we made a band. He said, "Hey man, you want to join my band?" And it was just him. You want to join my band? And I was like, yeah, man, I play drums. He goes, okay, well, I play guitar. I found out later that he didn't have a guitar, just like I didn't have a set of drums.
So where did you get the drum and the guitar?
Well, those came later. I eventually, my mom saw that I had a real interest in learning how to play the drums.
Yeah.
So for my birthday, my freshman year of high school, which was in February 16th,
Yeah.
that's when a set of drums appeared in my bedroom. I was blown away. My mom
that's
did that for me.
sweet.
And that's what started my actual music career, is getting my drums on my birthday. And then Ruben, shortly after that, got a guitar, and then that's how we started playing.
Yeah.
But before we even got instruments, we were like already a band. And I remember, what was the name of the band? It was, because we were all into heavy metal or hard rock. By today's standards, what we called heavy metal back then would be considered soft rock by today's standards. But because it's heavy metal's gotten really, really hard.
Yeah.
In today.
It's like all screamo.
Yeah. Yeah. But back then we were called Demon's Desire. That was the name of our band.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was just everybody, all the hard rock, heavy metal bands they always did something like that. They all named their band something like that. Anyway, eventually that band later on became a band called Sinister Steel.
Okay.
Again, something with metal, steel, and it was sinister.
Yeah.
I don't know how steel can be sinister, but it was sinister.
But it was gonna be sinister that day.
Yeah. So I was drumming a lot with different guys. I started with just me and Ruben, but then I started branching out and I started drumming with different guys. And this goes to my crazy story now.
Okay.
Going
ready.
through my high school years and all that. And I think I've told you this story before.
I think you
So,
have.
there in my high school, all the rockers, so that's who, I guess you call them that.
Los hemos.
Yeah, exactly. Because you had all the jocks and you had all these other people, but all the rockers, they all hung out in this, after we all ate, the lunch period was about 45 minutes. So after we all ate for 15 minutes, we all went and hung out in this one area outside the cafeteria, and we were all just hanging out there talking about who's the best who's the best drummer, who's the best guitar player, and just talking a bunch of rock stuff. And so you get to meet other guys. So I became friends with other guys, and we would jam out. They'd come over to my house, or I'd go over to their house, and we'd jam out. This one guy, one time, he's like, "Hey, man, I'm putting together this gig for New Year's Eve, man. You want to play along, man? I know you're a great drummer. You can pick up the stuff real easy." I said, "Yeah, man, that'd be cool." Nowhere in my mind at that time in my life was I thinking I'm gonna get paid, because back in those days, it's just the thrill of playing was more than enough compensation, right? And so I said, "Yeah, sure, man. What's your song list?" And so he writes a bunch of songs. He goes, "Yeah, you want to practice?" He goes, "Oh, man, I've seen you drum, man. You got it, man. You know all these songs, man. Don't worry. We don't have to practice, man. We're good. I got my guys ready." So, okay. And so, well, where's this New Year's Eve party? He goes, "Oh, man, it's going to be, my boss, man, asked me to put together a band for a New Year's Eve party where I work." I said, "Oh, cool. Where's that?" He goes, "At the Sea Island, man. We're going to play at the Sea Island." I said, all right, hey, Sea Island, cool. Private party.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I get there, and I set up my drums, and I'm expecting to see like a band.
He said guys.
He said guys.
I'll get my guys.
I'll get my guys.
Yeah.
I'll see you. Oh, man, my guys are ready, man. And I said, "We're so excited, man. We're going to play with you." So I set up my drums. I go, and it was a Sea Island right there in San Antonio, like near North Star Mall.
Yeah, it's right behind it, too.
Yeah,
it's still there.
So it's still there. So they're like where the receptionist stands. We moved that podium out of the way because it was already nighttime. And I set up my drums right there. And you get all these people are walking in, and they're kind of like
what is...
they're looking at us like, "What is this guy doing?" I was a little 16, 17-year-old little kid, right? And then I was expecting to see a band and a PA and all that. And this guy comes out, "Oh, man, gosh, this is going to be awesome." And he brings out his guitar. And I say, "Hey, one of the rest of the guys showing up." He goes, "Hey, man, well, this is just it. It's just me and you. It's the band."
And then
I was like, "What?
How long were y'all going to play?
We're going to play for like a couple of hours." and I was just like, and then little by little, the whole thing became clear. His boss didn't ask for a band to play New Year's Eve. His manager or his boss. This guy was, he worked in the kitchen. He was either a cook or something. And he just talked to a couple of people that he had this band. And so a couple of people, I guess, they weren't telling him no, but nobody was like looking forward to a band. He shows up, he with his guitar amp and me with my drums. Nobody in the room wants us there. It was after dinner, but there were still some people eating. But there were people drinking for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to have a good time. So there are these two high school kids. I thought we were wanted at this gig, and then we just started. He goes, "Oh man, kick it off, man. Let's play a song." So I don't know who we played. We just played a couple of songs and this and that. And after a couple of songs, when I could tell, the room was just
not.
Why are you guys disturbing our New Year's Eve celebration? And I was like, this guy, why did you do this? I thought it was a real gig. And he turns around, we're in the middle of the song, he's like, turns around, looks at me and goes, drum solo.
It's been a drum solo the entire time.
Well, yeah, it pretty much has been. But at that age, I was going to oblige.
Did you go?
So I went into a drum solo. And so I ruined these people's New Year's Eve. Because there I am playing a drum solo. They're trying to drink and... I don't know what year. It must have been like 82 or something like that.
Well, at least you left them with this next year is going to be better than what it was right now.
Yeah, well, that's one thing. Yeah, let's pray this guy finishes. It was a crazy. I was just like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Drum solo.
Yeah, drum solo. So in the middle of the sea island on New Year's Eve.
I love the confidence and the hype.
Yeah, there was a lot of hype. This guy, drum solo, man, give it to me. And then me like a stupid kid. I'm like, sure, man, I'm on. And so it's just, as an adult, I look back at that and I'm thinking, what would I have done had I seen kids do that?
What would you have done?
I probably would have gone, go, man, go. I don't know, because I went through it. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I had plenty of high school stories. That was just one crazy one that this specific movie reminded me of, because I was a guitar player and a drummer, kind of clueless to where they are in the world and where they are in things, kind of like how we were.
Yes.
That day, clueless to the people not wanting us to be in, ruining their New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But so that brought back that memory that movie did. So I wanted to share that with you.
Remind me of the name of the movie.
Metal Lords.
Metal Lords. I'm gonna watch it. It's on Netflix, right? So
it's on Netflix.
If you're paying those expensive Netflix fees, which have just been going up every single month, go enjoy it. Metal Lords.
That said, it's your turn to share a high school story.
High school stories.
Not having to do with your school group.
No, but just in general.
Yeah.
So when I was a junior and a senior, I used to play with the group, and there was like a family. And so the majority of them were family except for a couple of us. And some of them was our trumpet player, and he was an older gentleman.
Okay.
And to this day, I don't.
Older gentleman like my age or older than me?
You are very young. So I know.
Young at heart.
Young at heart. No, he had to be older than you.
Okay.
And he was just so funny because he would just say ocurrencias, like he would just say random things. And I think this is seriously, we called him by his nickname. And I want to say that his name is Don Luis.
Don Luis.
But we used
that you say you call somebody that's older, Don Luis.
Don Luis. But we always called him Chuperto.
Chuperto,
yeah.
Did I hear that right? Chuperto?
Yeah, his name.
Not chupado?
No, sir. This is a family friendly. I'm just kidding. No, that was his nickname, Chuperto. And I never understood why his name was Chuperto. But I remember them telling us a story of his name. And we asked him, was like, hey, why is your nickname Chuperto? And then he just said that it came to him on the spot because one time they were at a gig. Again, this is an older Mexican man, gentleman,
Did he speak
right?
English?
He didn't really speak that much English.
Okay.
And honestly, think about your typical Mexican dad. They just say a bunch of burradas.
Yeah.
They always just say a bunch of ocurrencias. They're just funny for no reason.
Right.
So they had
my mom is hilarious.
Your mom is hilarious. So they were at this gig, and it was for white people, right?
Yeah.
And so these white ladies come up to him, and they're just like, "Oh, you play so nice. What's your name?" And then he tells them, "Chuperto." And then they're like, "Oh, Chuperto.
So,
that's a beautiful name."
Even worse. So he made that up on the spot?
I guess that's what he said, if I recall the story correctly.
Just to kind of throw him a name that was ridiculous and see how they would react?
Yeah, and they said that Chuperto was a beautiful name. That's what
Oh
that's
my
what I know
God.
about that. But
Chuperto.
yes,
Is that a family name?
it was my father's name. I'm just kidding. No. But yeah, that was his
Oh,
name.
that's hilarious.
And I hope he's doing well. Que Dios le dé salud. I haven't seen or heard about him in a long time, so I don't know how he's doing. I hope he's doing well.
Chuperto.
But Chuperto, Don Chuperto, and he played trumpet, so that's the one I have.
Well, that's hilarious. I mean, yeah, there are some people that do that. They'll,
Yes.
you know, when they're obviously running into a situation, they'll insert that crazy word or whatever,
Yeah.
and to a crowd that might not know what it means, and just to see their reaction. So yeah, I've known people like that. That's hilarious. Chuperto.
Chuperto,
I
but
don't
yeah.
remember that one for a long time.
He was like, "That's a beautiful name. Oh, thank you." So yeah, that was his name. And we've had lots of crazy stories, like again, especially at performances dealing with Chuperto. I remember one time we were at a party and there was just these crazy kids. Like, and if you ever played a mariachi, like you're playing for parties and the kids are running around. I used to be that kid, so no judge, no hate. But I do recall we were at a party. We had been there for hours, and these kids, they were little tornadoes. And it was at their house and we were outside. Well, they run inside and they're gone for a little bit and then they come outside. And this kid, he's coming back with this, like, the yogurt, like a tub of yogurt, pink strawberry yogurt. I don't know what the heck he did, but he decides to open it and he makes a mess out of it. It's on cement and he just dumps it out. And I don't know how he found a sponge, but he takes the sponge, puts it in the yogurt, and he throws it. Who does it land on?
Chuperto.
On his leg,
Oh,
on his traje, and it was
Chuperto's
full.
leg.
Yeah, it was full of like yogurt, and I'm just like, these kids, like, what are they doing? But I mean,
It was on his traje though, right?
it was on his traje,
yeah.
and I felt bad for him, and I was like, man. But it's stuff like that happens.
I mean, we'll have another time to talk about these high school stories because there's so many. I'm always watching movies. I love watching movies. I've had all my life, and some of these movies just bring back memories. Who knows? Just whoever made Metal Lords may have had that experience themselves.
Talking about movies, and I hate to interject here, but I must say, and I have to say it on the podcast, I will never forgive you for taking me to go see Alien.
Oh, Alien?
Oh,
no, it wasn't.
It was one of those.
Yeah, it was like the third or fourth one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was cringing. And I remember being in that movie theater and like the monsters, the aliens are coming out, and I'm just like, I hate it. I hate it.
And it was like the resurrection of the Alien movies. They
come out of their pods.
After Prometheus. It's the one after Prometheus. But if you want to see a really good one, go, obviously, Alien's a great one.
No, it's not.
And then Aliens is awesome by James Cameron.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
Well, you got to see them. Maybe you don't got to see them.
No. Oh, well, I'm not going to see them, but I'm pretty sure my husband will enjoy watching those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask him to watch Aliens.
Aliens?
James Cameron, he's an amazing, he's like one of my favorite directors. I mean, you don't like Aliens, but he's also the one that, the director that made Titanic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, James Cameron's the same person.
I like Titanic. I will literally rewatch Titanic anytime it comes on TV.
Yeah. And of course, I'm a big fan of Avatar. I don't know if you've ever seen Avatar, but I'm a big fan of it.
I've seen Avatar once, but the blue creatures do freak me out.
The blue people didn't do it for you?
No.
Yeah.
They look like Smurfs. Tall Smurfs.
Well, they do. And they're about to come out with a bunch of Avatars now.
Really?
He's been working on Avatar 2. The story I heard is that he was working on Avatar 2, 3, and 4, and maybe in Avatar 5, all at the same time.
At the same time?
And then he's going to release them in multiple years. But I think they're working on Avatar 2 should be coming out soon.
And then he's making bank.
Yeah, he banks.
Yeah.
He's and he doesn't put out that many movies. He's one of those.
Titanic,
Avatar, between Titanic and Avatar.
Alien.
I mean, all those, there's multiple years in between. So he takes his time on coming up with the next story.
Well, I know that you're going to enjoy them. I don't know if I will enjoy them. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed our podcast.
Yeah. So I know that we kind of left the mariachi world scene discussions there for a little bit, but we are a podcast that talks about everything.
Everything.
That's how we say saboreando de todo.
Yes, and like I said, we had a great time with Mr. Juancito Cabrera. make sure you get your tickets.
Yes, get your tickets for the mariachi. Miss Alondra, always a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise, sir. Thank you. We're excited for next week's podcast with Mr. Manuel Delgado.
Manuel Delgado. See you next week.
Bye-bye.